Most people get into credit cards the completely wrong way. They see flashy cards like the Amex Gold, the Amex Platinum, the Robinhood Gold, the Apple Card, and they just jump right into it. The thing they don't realize is they've locked themselves out of tons of ecosystems that if they carefully planned, they'd have access to. Here's the thing, the order in which you attack credit cards and you apply and get accepted to matters. The order in which the cards you pick matter. There's a correct sequence dictated by the rules that each bank plays. I'm gonna break it down and give you that specific order with all the major ecosystems. We're talking Chase, Bilt, Amex, Citi, Wells Fargo, and Capital One, and exactly which ecosystem you should start first. So the strategy is simple. You're gonna wanna go for the banks and the ecosystems that have stricter policies and rules compared to the banks and ecosystems that have little to no rules. We wanna leave the lenient banks for last and the strict ecosystems attack first. Okay, so hold that idea. The first bank that we're absolutely going to attack first for a couple reasons is the Chase ecosystem. First, the Chase ecosystem has great starter cards with the Chase Freedom Unlimited and the Chase Freedom Flex. These two cards have no annual fee and their welcome bonuses are spend $500, get $200 cash back. Even college students or people starting off on their credit card journey can easily hit those welcome bonuses in 3 months. And they have very good premium cards as well. Chase Sapphire Preferred, very strong premium card, and the Chase Sapphire Reserve if you're spending a little bit more and are capable of hitting that welcome bonus. The totality of those 4 welcome bonuses on the personal side with the business credit card welcome bonuses like the Inc. Business Cash and the Inc. Business Preferred and the Inc. Business Unlimited can accumulate a ton of welcome bonus points. In your first year with Chase, you can easily hit 200K welcome bonus points. But here's the real reason why you need to start with Chase. They have a strict policy called the 524 rule. This means you cannot sign up for 5 credit cards in 24 months. If you do, that 6th credit card, you'll instantly be denied by Chase. So this means if you got 2 Capital One cards, a Bilt card, and 2 Amex cards, if you then applied for just 1 Chase card, they would instantly deny you. I recommend you get your first 5 Chase cards, hit that 5 cards in 24-month window, and then move on. And now that you're done with Chase, the second ecosystem I would recommend to go to is Capital One. Now there's also a similar logic behind that. One, their cards are really strong, with the Venture X being the strongest credit card and S-tier card, basically the best travel card in the game. You also have the Saver, which is another easy welcome bonus card, or with 500 spend, get 200 back and 3% on groceries. Is elite. But Capital One also has a rule. They're pretty strict on being accepted once you accumulate a decent number of credit cards. The number is disputed, but once you get to around 7 or 10, they'll just deny you. There's tons of people who have accumulated a lot of credit cards and have been denied by Capital One and locked out of their ecosystem because they didn't start with them or get them early. After Capital One and Chase, the ecosystems aren't that strict. It's really your choice on where to go. Now, I would recommend the third ecosystem to start with is Citi. Now, Citi has 5 really strong cards that all can accumulate very strong welcome bonuses, and they also all transfer together. Citi has the Double Cash, it has the Custom Cash, it has the Citi Strata, it has the Citi Strata Premier, and it has the Citi Strata Elite. When you accumulate the welcome bonuses, all of those cards, you can get over 200K in welcome bonus spend. And just like Chase and just like Capital One, these points transfer to airlines, they transfer to hotels, and you can get 3 times the point value % if you do that. Bilt is another great option after you conquered Capital One and Chase. Almost everyone pays for mortgage or rent, and Bilt allows you to accumulate points on those purchases every single month. But there is a catch. Bilt requires you to spend equivalent non-rent purchases comparatively to your rent. So if your rent is 3K, if your mortgage is 4K, you have to spend 4K on other purchases to get times cash back, points back value. That's bad because the non-rent purchases you can use on other credit cards to accumulate a welcome bonus. And start with the Bilt Blue. Now the Bilt Blue has no annual fee and will only give you 0.5 back on rent. But it's better than not getting anything for rent. And then once you've ran dry on the welcome bonuses, go to Bilt's ecosystem, use the spending to match the rent. Now, if you're a big baller and you have tons of spending anyway, definitely keep the Bilt in your back pocket. Now, between Amex and Wells Fargo, I personally think if you're a big baller and you spend a lot, Amex is probably the better option, but Wells Fargo's new to the game, and it also allows you to accumulate points through 4 cards: the Attune, the Wells Fargo Autograph, Wells Fargo Autograph Journey, and the Wells Fargo Active Cash, which gets 2 percent back on everything. The cool thing about Wells Fargo is you can accumulate points through the Wells Fargo autograph, and it has no annual fee. So you can transfer, you can use it as a centralized pawn for point accumulation, transferring the cash back from the active cash and the attune into the autograph. It's the only ecosystem where you don't have to pay an annual fee to transfer points to airlines. But I would also recommend to get the Wells Fargo autograph journey, because that one's going to have a strong welcome bonus and good cashback value in percent categories. Now Amex, I kind of saved it for last, mainly because it has a high welcome bonus spend threshold. For example, the gold requires 8,000 spend in 6 months, higher than most welcome bonus offers and spending. The platinum requires 12,000 spend in 6 months, also extremely high. And then the annual fee for both of those, $325 for the gold, and for the platinum, it's $895. They're also coupon books, so the annual fee is extremely expensive. It's really hard to justify unless you're utilizing a lot of the free stuff that they give you. They also don't have a single card with no annual fee that can transfer to the gold or the platinum. The best they have, because they lock out all their cash back cards to not accumulate points and to transfer to the gold, the platinum, you're basically left with no cards that have welcome bonuses or no annual fees to be able to accumulate more points. Now there is the American Express green card, which has 150 annual fee, but that only gives 40,000 Amex points after spending 3,000. So not the greatest point accumulation outside of the gold and the platinum. I just think it's a really hard ecosystem to get started. Even I personally can't justify it currently in my credit card journey. Now, another points ecosystem to consider, which is kind of a sleeper points ecosystem, it's not even tied to a credit card, is Rove. Rove is really good if you pair it like with a card like the Chase Business Preferred, which earns 3x back on travel, because you can buy a hotel through Rove or a flight through Rove, and you can get points back on that. And then I also can get points back on my Chase card. So I'm kind of double dipping in 2 different ecosystems at the exact same time. Rove has the best transfer options for airlines and hotels, giving you more flexibility. And that's another important thing about these ecosystems is each of them have different transfer partners a lot of the time. Now they have some overlap, but the more ecosystems you dip your toes into, the more options in the future when you have a ton of points accumulation to get the flights that you actually want for a reasonable points redemption. A full blueprint of all the strategies listed today is on Cardocrat.com. So I definitely recommend to check it if you want any clarity to this video or just want a visual breakdown beyond just this. All these cards aren't accessible without a good credit score. So my next video is going to particularly tackle that, how to get your credit score up and get the opportunity to play the points game and to access and take advantage of welcome bonuses. I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe.